Hey guys, it's your girl Delia with PhilaDehliaEagles.com checking in with a quick video here. I had some of you tweeting at me asking about, oh, did you hear Sam Bradford's upset at the move? So I wanted to kind of address it really quick and my thoughts. So before I get into it, I'm gonna let you know I'm very short of breath right now with this whole prego belly getting bigger. My lungs cannot hold as much air, so if you hear me like panting or like talking weirder than I normally do, that's why. It feels like I just ran a marathon when I haven't. So anyways, random thing, into Bradford. So yeah, there were some reports, people saying, oh, Bradford's upset, he wants to be traded, blah 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 blah, because the big news, Eagles moved up in the draft to get that number 2 spot, where they're probably gonna draft Carson Wentz, as long as the Rams don't. But either way, they're gonna draft a quarterback. You make those kinds of moves for a quarterback. So that being said, where does it leave Bradford? Now, I look at this 2 ways. Well, I think the way Bradford reacts is going to be a really good indicator of the type of player he is. And depending on how it is, it's going to tell us whether he's the type of guy that we would want on our starting for our team or not. So I think it'll be a true character indicator where, first of all, he has every right to be upset. I would be pissed. You guys invest all this money in me. You tell me I'm the guy. I've been hustling my butt. Almost got you to the playoffs last year, but unfortunately got injured, and missed 3 games where Mark Sanchez went ahead and just screwed that up for you. But, he's been working hard, and now this new guy's coming in who's not as hyped as most top drafted quarterbacks in the past, where there's a lot of unknowns. So in Sam Bradford's eyes, we're making all these risks for this, guy who could be a scrub. We don't know. And that's frustrating. I could see where he's coming from. Now, the way he handles that frustration is really going to tell us a lot about his character and potential as a top tier athlete. Now, my arm's getting tired. Jeez, gotta switch. Okay. So here's what I think. If he's kind of pissed off and kind of saying he wants to leave, to me that's a bad sign. That's him being a little bit spoiled, thinking he's owed everything, not wanting to earn that spot. And that also tells me that he's... Okay, sorry guys. I'm recording on my phone and got a phone call right in the middle of filming this, so it chopped me off. But what I was saying is, so I was talking about if Sam Bradford wants to get traded just because his spot is threatened now because of this move, that tells me he is, that's not a good quality. The fact that he's threatened so easily, that he's so insecure about his own skills, that he's not wanting to compete to hold his throne, at QB, then if that's how he reacts, then he's not the guy for us, because that's not a quality quarterback. A quality quarterback, or just a quality athlete in general, will accept that challenge. They'll be frustrated, so don't get me wrong. They'll be upset. They'll be kind of insulted at the fact that you would bring in this guy to try and compete, but they'll stick around and they'll prove you wrong. They will work 10 times harder to make sure they prove you wrong. And they won't be threatened because they know they're going to take all the steps necessary to make sure they hold their position. So if Bradford is on that side of thinking, where he's upset but wants to still play and is going to fight hard to be the starter, to remain the starter, then I think that's a good sign. So we're going to see the true character of Bradford here. as an athlete, which I'm very interested to see how it plays out. Because, again, we're trying to learn about these guys, whether we want them to stick around or not. So this is a great scenario to see how he handles this type of threat. And yeah, so it kind of reminded me of when I was playing in college. When I moved from number 2 to number 1, there was another girl who had moved from number 5 to number 2 on my team. And just because all the other girls ahead of her had graduated, so she kind of just moved up as a coincidence, not because of her actual skill level improving. So when that happened, I was 1, she was 2. My coach at first tried to make it a competition and said, well, you're not automatically going to be number 1. This other girl could come in and take your spot. And me, I got upset. I was very insulted. Like, how is this girl who wasn't even the top number 5 player gonna compete with me, at this number 1 spot? And I took it as motivation for me to just make sure I owned it. And believe me, I owned it. Like, whenever I would play this girl, I used to take it easier on her, but once it became this competition, I didn't mess around. I would not let her get any games. There were times where she was crying on the court, but I was put in that position where I had to establish my dominance in a sense. And I'm hoping that's the route Bradford takes, because in the end, I ended up finishing the best player in our conference, in our division. And it's because of that threat and me not backing down and saying, well, screw this team if they're going to consider this other person to try and take my spot. Instead of backing down, I pushed harder and fought harder, which in the end allowed me to be the best. So we'll see what type of mindset Sam Bradford has. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And that's it. It's your girl Delia of PhilaDehlia Eagles.com signing out. EAGLES, Eagles.